Good morning, good morning. Hello, everyone. My name is Sandra Waldrop from Kingdom Acres, and I am crafting today. Will be making some cookies that won't add inches to your waist. Some Valentine's Day cookies. So, pretty excited about that. Couple announcements. My podcast for homeschooling, I haven't gotten it up on Apple iTunes as of yet. I'm still working out the technical parts of that. But it is on YouTube on my Kingdom Acres Homestead with Sandra Waldrop. That's my YouTube page. Good morning, Noble. And then, what else? So I've already done a few interviews. I've got one up. I'll be having more put up as I get them edited and then uploaded. It just takes me a while to kind of get around to that. What else? There was something else I wanted to tell you guys. I'm sure it'll come to me. Oh, my herbal talk is still on here. Apparently, what happened with the Etsy was that even though it was a digital product, they only made one available. And so after one person got it, it was sold out. So I had to re-upload the whole thing and go through that process again, but I just made it a quantity of 100 on that. If you were with me last week and I was not responding to you in the conversation, it was like I got my first few messages when I first came on, and then they just went away. And I assumed that people had popped on and then popped right on out, which isn't a big deal, because people like to come back when it's convenient for them. And so I assumed that people weren't talking to me, but later on, Facebook went ahead and released the comments to me, and I was like, all these comments were happening during my live, and I was not seeing them. And hearing from some other creators, that's been happening. So I don't know if it's just a glitch in the Facebook update, or, I don't know. I don't know what the deal is there, and it wasn't showing me the accurate number of viewers the whole time. It was only showing one when I had several, and so yeah, so I wasn't responding. I'm sorry about that. I would have loved to have a little chat with y'all, but Facebook did me dirty. Yeah, so anyways. So we're going to make these cookies, and I'm using this cute little ruffled edge heart cookie cutter. You can use whatever cookie cutter you like if you're going to do this craft, but I'm doing this for Valentine's Day, but it's also kind of a springy type thing too, like hearts and butterflies and all that stuff just kind of goes together. So I'm using this, plus the style is very primitive to me. It just gives me that primitive feel. You can do this two ways. You can either do it with the white dough that comes out like this, or you can do it, let me get a one cake. Or you can do it with the darker dough that comes out like this, okay? I'm going to be doing the white dough today. I might sprinkle in a little bit of my instant coffee just to give it some color. This was made, the darker ones are made with the same recipe as the white ones, except instead of using water, I use coffee grunge. So, and you can find the recipe for coffee grunge on Tracy Campbell's Facebook, My Sweet Home Living. She has a thing. It's her recipe that I use. My kids were staring at me. I just want to make sure they didn't need me for anything. So quick coffee sip then we'll get started. So in this bowl, I have 1 cup of flour and half a cup of salt. The original recipe had 2 cups of flour and 1 cup of salt, but I wanted to do half a recipe, and I did some last night using half a recipe, and they turned out fine. I did have to kind of sprinkle in more flour just to, you know, make it not so sticky, or, you know, just like you do with regular dough, you know. So that's the recipe. And then just remember a little bit more to sprinkle on to, you know, to knead or whatever if you need that. So old salt, old flour is better, because then you're not using your food. If you have, you know, old supplies and you feel bad throwing out your old flour, you can sift out the weevils or whatever that you've had sitting in your pantry. And then you can go ahead and make yourself some non-fattening cookies, because you're not going to eat them. They're just going to look pretty. I love having these baked goods. These faux is fancier. These faux baked goods. See my beautiful bundt cake? So beautiful. I get to have the feeling of fresh baked goods, you know, just sitting around, but no temptation to eat them. Oh, because I have beautiful cake stands, and I feel bad just always having them put up and away and everything. So I like to have some homemade goodies that are not edible. Okay, so this is 1 cup flour, half a cup salt. This is half a cup water. Okay, and I am going to sprinkle in just a little bit of my coffee, and we'll see if I even can do enough to make a difference. I don't want to put too much because I don't want it super dark, but I just want to give it a little bit darker than what we've got going with the ones that I did last night. And we will glaze them, and we will grungy them up a little bit, make them look baked and dark and all of that, but I just wanted a little bit more color. So, and I'm just going to take off my rings so that, well, I really just need the one hand, and just mix it around. I get messy. I'm a kid. I like to get messy. And hopefully this is enough flour and I don't have to run into the kitchen and get more flour. So I'm just mixing it around. Sometimes it'll be sticky too until that gluten develops. It doesn't like to develop until it gets wet. And so, yeah, now it's starting to come together. Had me a little worried there for a second. That was gonna have to go and leave my seat. Leave you guys here staring at nobody talking to themselves. I hope everybody's good. It is so cold this morning. So we're supposed to go to a homeschool event at a local campground this morning at 11 o'clock. And it is cold. It's cold. The kids are fine to do all that. But I'm cold. I get super cold. I don't know about doing all that. I don't have the best cold tolerance. So that's my only issue, is that, like, everybody will be sitting there and be like, oh yeah, it is cold. And then they're just like sitting there cold and it's not affecting their existence. I'm shivering. I feel like I'm getting frostbite. I'm pretty sure I'm getting hypothermia. Like, this is affecting my existence. Okay, so we have a nice little round dough ball here. Put that over there. And this morning I just have my little paper, and I'm just gonna roll this out a tad. Last night I just did it with my hands. You can use a rolling pin. Of course, my little paper is gonna keep moving around here, so I might just stop and use my hands. Oh, let's see. But I do like having the paper because when you go to lift the cookies, they're less likely to stick. And you can just use more flour to keep it from sticking to your surface so badly. Personally, I like the fatter ones, so I'm not going to make them too thin. But, okay. There's like a little ridge, so I have to make sure that I'm using the correct side. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 out of that 1. See, and now it's sticking to my paper. I should have done it on the waxy side. I use freezer paper. So there's like a paper side and then a waxy side. So my advice to you is that if you're doing this on freezer paper as I am, then you should probably use the waxy side. Oh, this is horrible. Okay. I'm just gonna, look at how horrible that turned out. Okay, we're gonna start that over. Because look at this paper, my goodness. Okay. Yeah, that stuck really bad. What else can I use? Oh, you know what? I have my tray that I can use. Okay. I'm gonna get rid of the paper. Or you know what? I can just fold it over and work in smaller batches. How about that? Because that, put this over here. That'll be better. The waxy side, you know, obviously it's gonna be better non-sticked. Non-sticking. It ain't gonna stick, y'all. So, I told my Wednesday night church kids how I really enjoy doing a Georgian accent when we go out of town. And we have this like really extensive Easter curriculum. So when we came back from Christmas, we just jumped directly into Easter so that we can go through the whole, you know, like get through this, but like, and try to end around Easter or even a little after. And, anyways, there's quite a bit to read to them. And they're like, read it in your Georgian accent, Miss Sandra. They're so funny. I was laughing so hard. Look at that. Okay, so much better. And so what I do with these is they can go into the oven on your lowest setting for like 4 to 6 hours just until they're dry. Or if you have a dehydrator, I literally did the half batch last night before bed, popped them in my dehydrator at 150 degrees, and then just let them go overnight. And then when I woke up and went in the kitchen at like 6 o'clock this morning, they were done. So that was a good 8 hours, I guess, that they were going then, because it was like around 10 o'clock when I did that. So anyways, this is what it will look like as dough. Okay, I'm not going to do all of them right now because I want to show you the next step. So imagine, but look, okay, so I'd done that coffee, right? Do you see the difference between that and this? This one's just a little bit browner. I like that. I like that. So from now on, note to self, put in a little bit, probably like a teaspoon of instant coffee. Okay, now I have to figure out how to get all this dough off my hands. Excuse me. Try to just get all the goop off. Get it off. I like to get messy, but I usually wash my hands quite a bit afterwards. So that's fun. Fun little mess here. Okay. I'm just gonna put my rings back on because otherwise I'll forget them, and then when I go to pick up everything and throw it in the trash, bad things will happen. It will be horrible. Okay, so these are the ones that I had put in the dehydrator overnight. And now we're going to do a glaze on them. And I had tested out what I'm doing this morning, because normally you would use to do like a glaze like this. Has a glaze on it on my bundt cake. You can see the white drips coming down. I did that with white paint mixed with caulking, like the caulking you use to seal, you know, like molding and stuff on your home, or like seal your bathtub in your home. And you know, you get in the construction materials at your hardware, or at, you know, Walmart or a hardware store or somewhere. And so I just used white caulking for that. For this though, I didn't have a whole lot of time to like run around. And so, I was at Dollar Tree and they didn't have caulking, which I was like, why don't they have tiny things of caulking? Dollar Tree, if you're watching, caulking, okay? Add just like tiny things of caulking. It would make my life so much easier. So I ended up having some of this Crafter Square multi-use acrylic gloss finish. And this is a Dollar Tree product, okay? It's just a glaze. That's all it is. And then, in one of my kids' Christmas kits, or somebody's Christmas kit, we had gotten, you know, a little art set with a bunch of tiny acrylic paints. This one is Rhodamine Red, okay? It's more like a bright pink. Okay, so I'm just going to, into this cup, into my fancy mixing cups that I have here. I have to special order these from Istanbul and Uganda. Just kidding. They're just red Solo cups. I just use about 2 or 3. Actually, let's do 4. Let's get wild with it. 4 little tongue depressor fulls of my glaze, and then I just do just like a few little drops. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do one more for fun. Okay, and then I'm just going to mix those together same way I would if I was using caulking. Just get it all incorporated in the bottom of my fancy Solo cup. Okay. Did I just shoot that at me? It shot at me. How very rude of it. It got on my scarf. Oh no. Okay. It looks fine. I don't think that it's going to ruin my scarf. Thankfully, it's kind of sheer. It's that sheer material, so it just came right off. So if you're dealing with acrylic paint and you get it on your clothes, that's usually a fairly big deal because acrylic paint was made to be permanent on clothes. My kids are asking me questions now. Can I do this? Can I do that? All right. So I'm just going to go, I don't want to go all the way to the edge with it. I'm just going to make a heart on the inside of my cookie. I'm just going to leave a little edge. I'm doing a really simple craft today because we are trying to get out the door and I don't want to do anything too complicated. Okay, you see that? If I were to leave that like that, it would dry like that. So I'm going to dab it and just kind of like even out how the paint is going to sit. give it a more even look. It's not going to be perfect. Again, this is handmade. I will say it every week. We're not looking for perfection. But that looks better, right? That looks better. Okay. Set it off to the side to dry. Okay. Trying to do this where y'all can see, but I can still see, and you can see, and I can see, and we can see together. Okay, here we go, like this, and like that. Okay, just tap it a bit. Come on, come on. I just want more, more. Okay. So my daughter, one of my daughters, she is the sweetest girl you'll ever meet, but she's incredibly mean to her mommy. When we're riding in the car, she likes to watch me. And she says that I make faces depending on what I'm thinking. And so, good morning, Miss Kim. And she says I make faces depending on what I'm thinking. So I'll be driving along and I'm like, and she'll just be all staring at me. And I'm like, what are you doing? She was like, you make funny faces. I'm just going to give this a little shake and see if it does anything cool. It might have. Okay. Look at that one. That looks so cute. It's a cute little heart. Cute little fancy salt dough heart. And this one was made with the last of the dough last night. And because you know how you always, like when you're using a cookie cutter, you always have that last little bit of dough that you can't roll out. And so I just pressed it into my cookie cutter. Well, my cookie cutter wanted it for keeps. And so it gave me a little bit of a struggle last night. We had a struggle, an altercation, if you will, with one another. Trying to get this dough out and still keep the shape of the cookie cutter. So it's a little bit more wonky than the others, but I like it when the cookies are not extremely uniform. I just think that it gives it more of that primitive feel. So. All right. Let's see if I drop it. Maybe. Okay. There you go. There's my struggle cookie. Good morning, Anna. My little struggle cookie, my little fighting cookie. This cookie cutter did not want to release. It was just like in there. And I had to figure out how to get it out, especially because it's got this lip on the top. It's got like a little metal lip on it. So I couldn't just like push it through. It was just giving me all the fits last night. That's okay. So, okay. So that's step number 2 completed. You want them to sit for at least a few hours. When these came out at 6 o'clock this morning, I did them. And so, well, not this one because it's wet. Pardon me. Pardon me while I figure out my life here. Okay. So, this is what they look like when they're dry. They're nice and shiny. They're somewhat flat. They dry, you know, it's not raised. It would be raised if it was caulking, but since we did it with the glaze, it's not. So I actually did 4 of them. There's 3. And then this one, I had not done the dabby method with the paintbrush, and it did not, like, you know, it did that. So it was my little test. This is my tester cookie. So after everything was dried on this one, I went ahead and used my coffee podge all over the front and back to give it a baked look, and then some ink, and rubbed it on there to make it a little bit more grungy looking. So that's what I'm going to show you now. It's the grunge. You like it? Oh, my babies are silly. My babies are silly. Okay. Do that. Let me see. So I'd already done that one. Now my paintbrush is wet. So let me just dab it dry a little bit there. Okay. Try not to get my coffee podge in my actual drinking coffee. Don't want to be drinking no school glue here. Okay, and I'm putting on a thick layer right now, and then I'm just going to take my little and give it a little dab. See that? And then I'm just going to go around and get those grooves. In our area today, the public schools are out. They're on a teacher in service, and then there's a holiday Monday. So they've got a 4-day weekend. Now I'm gonna do the back. And so I'm thinking that we'll probably have a decent sized group at our event today that we're going to. I did not help put this on, but I'm excited to go to it. I'm excited to go to anything anymore that I did not put on. Because then my kids, so we had gone to see a friend's child play in the band at their school. And they were over the moon excited when it was time to leave, and we could just like get up and walk out. And we didn't have to stay and clean or pick up anything or do any sort of checkout or anything like that. Like, we were just guests there. We could just get up and leave, and they're like, this is so weird and awesome. So, now I'm liking it too. I'm liking it when I can just go to an event and not be the one in charge and put it on. Although I do enjoy coordinating things and, you know, making sure that we have some things available happening in our community, but it's fun also to just go and be a guest. And so, I don't know about you, but whenever I say a phrase that's been used in a song, immediately that song pops into my head. So now I'm hearing Lemure sing "Be Our Guest" from Beauty and the Beast. Be our guest, put our service to the test. That's me. That's how my brain works. Pretty fancy, pretty fanciness. All right, one more to do on that, and then we'll dry them, and then we'll add some ink and make them fancy, and we can style them over here. Now, if you wanted them extra fancy, you could get out your hot glue gun and, you know, hot glue some things. You could do 2 hearts and cut out the center of one and like glue it on top and do like the sandwich cookies. That's really cool. That's a really pretty look. I like those ones. Like, I guess they're called picture frame cookies. I don't remember what they're called, but they're fancy, that's for sure. Definitely more effort than what I've had in me the past few days. Weather, cold weather, overcast, tends to kind of bring me down. I probably need a vitamin D supplement. Good morning, Miss Lisa. I hope you're doing good and staying warm this morning. 9:30. Okay, well, we've got time. We've got time to spare. Okay, I'm just gonna blow dry these and take a little drink of my coffee. These are what they look like with the glaze. This glaze is still drying. This is before the coffee podge. This is what the dough looks like with a little bit of instant coffee added. I'd shown everybody else earlier. What we're making today is cookies that don't add inches to your waistline, because you're not going to eat them. They're salt dough, but they're pretty and you can decorate your house with them, and it's fun for Valentine's Day. This would be something fun to do with the kids if you're just going to be home tonight and you want to do a craft with the kids. And they can do hearts, or if you have dinosaur cutouts for the little ones, you could do dinosaurs. Whatever you would like to do. I just love how they look with the coffee podge. I do. And if you're commenting, I'm so extremely sorry. I cannot see my comments this morning. When I went live on Monday, I could see my comments at first, and then they all went away. So I don't know what's going on with, maybe I need to do something. Let me see here. Let me see if I push something. No, it's for me. I don't know how to fix it. I'm gonna have to maybe Facebook support or something, see if somebody can help me. Like, what can I do? What can I do? I don't know. Okay, so these are mostly dry enough to move on to the next step. It's easy enough to do that with the coffee podge. The others, you just kind of want to let them dry. All right, so I know other creators have these super cool like alcohol inks and stuff like that. I have Dollar Tree inks. Okay, Mama's balling on a budget. All right, I homeschool kids. We've got horses out there that eat us out of house and home, and so I do inexpensive crafts. Okay. And if you see me with something fancy, it's because somebody bought it for me as a gift. All right, so this is nice and dry. I don't want to get coffee podge on my Dollar Tree makeup brush, okay? Because I need it to be soft to get the right look. So I'm just going to go on the edges and give it kind of like that. You know, like when you overcook it just a smidge and they get just like the little, not really burnt, but just, you know, darker edges on the sides. It just gives it more of a primitive, grungy feel to it. And if you wanted it even darker, okay, we did that. I'm gonna try going over it one more time with my coffee podge, just to give it a little bit more, just on the edges, just to help that ink along some. I'm just gonna blow dry it. Wrong way. That was high. I wanted low. Oh, never know what's gonna happen over here. You never know. If there's time when I'm done here, I will show you some cool things that I got recently. We had to go to New Mexico for a little family emergency, but while we were there, my stepdad gave me some cool stuff, so I'm going to show that to you before I hop off. Okay, so there's that one. Look. See what that did? It kind of like blended the ink a little bit and gave it more of a transition on the darker parts, so it actually looks like it was done in the oven. So I'm going to do that to these two. So a little bit of ink, a little bit of ink. I don't want it all over the whole thing, but just like little spots here and there. Okay, and then my coffee pouch. Here we go, here we go. La, da, 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 da. All right. Just a little bit more right there. Just to blend that ink. Because you know when ink gets wet, it kind of runs a little bit. And so we're darkening those edges and giving them their transition to where it looks natural, like it happened in the oven. These look so good. They look so good. So, and again, if you wanted just like a darker cookie, you can add in more and more instant coffee to your mix, or instead of using water, you can use the coffee grunge in place. Not the coffee podge, which contains glue. You want to use the coffee grunge, which is just water, instant coffee, cinnamon, and vanilla. And again, that recipe is over on My Sweet Living Facebook page. That's not my page, it's Tracy Campbell's page. Look. So cute. I love it. Okay, one last one, and then I will show you what I got from my stepdad in New Mexico. Thank you guys. If you guys are like, love anything about history, if you guys think history is cool, I think history is pretty cool. And I think it's pretty important too, because a society that knows history is harder to be fooled into repeating it, right? Society has been fooled plenty of times. We need to stop doing that. So, okay. Let's see. Just my opinion. But I think a lot of the different academics are very important. Art, writing, the sciences are so fun. Okay. And if you wanted it even darker, you could just do another coat and another coat and just keep going with your coats. Or you could sprinkle some instant coffee over your coffee podge and it'll do a little magic there. Ooh, let's try that. Let's see how that's gonna look. Set that down. Make things easier on myself. Still just a little bit damp. Ooh, that looks nice. I like it. I like it a lot. It looks so awesome. Oh my goodness. I'm going to show you guys. Hold on. I'll show you guys. It looks like some of the sugar like crystallized, you know, in the mix. So yummy. So yummy. So if you were using the caulking and paint, you could even sprinkle on some real sprinkles. You don't have to make like clay sprinkles or anything. I've seen plenty of creators just use like real sprinkles, you know, like the ones you get at Walmart or HEB. Well, you guys probably, not everybody has HEB, but your local grocer, okay? HEB is the one that's famous for Texas. So look at that. Oh, it looks so good. It looks so good. You got your little crystallized bunches there. Looks awesome. Okay. Clean this up real quick. This over here. Okay. I'm just trying to keep my little, keep from losing stuff here. Okay. Oh, we have a mess. I need to reorganize. You know, like when you're organized and then you use stuff for a while, you get unorganized. As you use it, and if it doesn't get put back right every time, then things just get chaotic. And that's me. I'm not a putter backer every time because I'm like, oh, I'm going to use that soon. I don't want to put it back in a hard to reach spot, but then I don't use it soon, and then everything is in my easy to reach spot. I don't have anything, organized. Anyway, so back here on this little stand, I have a really cool framed map that my stepdad gave me, and I've already gotten something on here. Okay. All right. So this is, and there is no way for me to flip my camera from left to right. Okay, the new update took that from us. So it says on here, a map of the United States of America as settled. I think that's supposed to be an S. As settled by the Peace of 1783. Okay, so this is when they stopped referring to them as colonies. These are the original 13 states. Isn't that so cool? So this is an antique map. And then on the back, there's like research that was done about it, and somebody wrote on like the paper on the back of the map. Not like on the map, but like on the frame paper, so that you can easily know and not have to remove it. So that was pretty cool. 1783. It's pretty cool. Okay, so there's that, and then so New Mexico is known for their Native American heritage, right? There's still a reservation in New Mexico. There's still, you know, a lot of Native American culture in New Mexico. And it's easy to just like walk out into the desert and find things. I used to go walking all the time as a child, and we would find arrowheads and artifacts, pieces of pottery that still had, you know, the paintings and stuff on it. And so this is like an axe head. I'm not sure. I think it's this way that they would like, you know, wrap it on the stick and then use this. So that's like super cool. And then there's this, which would be used for like starting fires. It's just a rock. It's kind of a soft rock. I don't know what kind of rock this would be. It's not lava rock. It's something, it's a sedimentary rock for sure, but I'm not sure exactly what kind of rock it is or what kind of minerals are in it. But you see that little hole, they would put their little flint material in there, and then their stick, and, you know, roll it, rub it back and forth, and then they'd have their fire. Isn't that cool? So awesome. I love it. I love it. I just think that these things are so priceless, right? They can't be bought. You can buy reproductions, you can, but my parents live out in the middle of nowhere at the base of a mountain. It's where I grew up, just like out in the desert. My husband and I went to the same schools basically all of our lives. We didn't meet until high school. And it's not because I lived in a huge community. It's because I literally went to school, went to class, and then went home and stayed there. I didn't live in town where I would see kids, you know, running up and down the road or anything. If I went outside to play, I had my sticks and my rocks, making mud pies, doing all that stuff. So, people are like, oh, you remember so-and-so from school? I'm like, I don't know who that is. I didn't know anybody. It's because I might have met them, you know, a couple of times and it just didn't stay in my memory. So anyways, but the Native American stuff absolutely did, because I got to go out arrowhead hunting and, you know, chasing rabbits and doing all that fun stuff out there in the desert. So there we go. And so that's it for today. I want to thank you all for being with me. And shoot me a message if you have any questions about, you know, the salt dough or anything. If I was unclear on anything, feel free to shoot me a message. Sorry if you made any comments or anything, because I can't see them. So anyways, thank you for making a homemade home with me today. Take care, guys.